Gerd Gigerenzer, Gut Feelings, The Intelligence of the Unconscious. In Gut Feelings, The Intelligence of the Unconscious, Gerd Gigerenzer explores the power of intuition in decision-making. He argues that gut feelings often lead to better outcomes than careful, conscious reasoning. Gigerenzer delves into the concept of heuristics, which are simple rules of thumb that help us make quick, effective decisions. Despite being seen as unreliable by many intellectuals, the author demonstrates through various examples how intuition and heuristics can outperform reason and logic in numerous situations.
The power of intuition. Before the advent of written language and scientific methods, people relied on intuition for decision-making. However, in modern times, intuition has been dismissed as unreliable and irrational. This summary presents a different perspective. Recent scientific experiments indicate that reliance on intuition can be an effective response to many real-life challenges. People have developed numerous intuitive rules of thumb, or heuristics, which enable them to act quickly and with astounding accuracy. Intuition is the intelligence of the unconscious, and it can outperform advanced computers and sophisticated mental strategies. This summary explores the characteristics of intuition, such as quick appearance in consciousness, lack of explainable logic, and ability to persuade people to act. It also highlights that intuition and rational thinking often conflict, and those who follow their intuition tend to be happier with their choices than those who rely solely on reason. The power of intuition. Have you ever made a decision based on gut feeling alone? In his book, the author discusses the use of intuition in decision-making. He describes a study in which American and German college students were asked to guess which city had a larger population, Detroit or Milwaukee. While the American students had some knowledge of both cities, the German students, who had never heard of Milwaukee, overwhelmingly chose Detroit because they recognized its name. This is an example of the recognition heuristic, a mental shortcut people use when making decisions based on what they recognize. Companies often use this heuristic in advertising, hoping to make their brand names familiar to consumers. However, the author emphasizes that the use of intuition is not foolproof and depends on the specific circumstances. While intuition is often thought of as unreliable, it can actually be a valuable tool for acquiring cultural knowledge and values. In today's fast-paced world, the ability to trust our intuition may be more important than ever. The power of intuition. People possess unconscious intelligence known as intuition that enables them to make instant decisions. This automatic decision-making relies on thoughts that bubble up into consciousness and is not always easily explainable. Experts often discount intuition and rely on intellectual examination, but average people swear by it. Our brains possess intuition because it works, and not taking advantage of it is illogical. The mind is an adaptive toolbox with both logical and intuitive tools, and sometimes the best approach is to blend rationality and intuition. In some cases, the idea that one ought to make trade-offs in order to be morally responsible conflicts with people's gut feelings. Therefore, it is important to recognize the value of intuition and not solely rely on complex strategies to solve problems. Trust your gut. The desire for more information often hinders decision-making. Intellectuals distrust intuition, believing logic and reason are the only way to make good choices. However, real-world evidence shows that sometimes less information is better. Unconscious motor skills, cognitive limitations, limiting options, and simple rules are examples of when overthinking impairs performance. Moral feelings are often based on unconscious rules of thumb. Excessive information also has negative consequences, such as increased medical testing and destroyed trust in relationships. The need for complexity and comprehensiveness often leads to failure in uncertain situations. Despite this evidence, intellectuals still dismiss intuition as illogical. However, intuition serves as a highly intelligent social judgment when logic does not apply. Trusting your gut may be the best decision-making strategy in certain circumstances. The power of intuition. The common notion of gathering and analyzing information to solve complex problems does not always lead to better decision-making. Instead, people tend to rely on intuition and use the "take the best" heuristic, which entails stopping research once a good reason for action is found. The father in the example chooses a high school for his second son based on attendance rates, despite not having information on dropout rates. Scientific research shows that attendance rates accurately predict dropout rates better than 18 other factors. The rule of ignoring information in uncertain environments applies to making good intuitions. Intuition, increasingly linked to our bowels rather than our brains, continues to play a vital role in decision-making. Unconscious inferences. Our human brain processes information by making unconscious inferences based on our prior experiences and perceptions of stimuli. These instinctual processes allow us to make quick decisions and avoid mistakes. For instance, small children can accurately sense what attracts their playmates, while adults can determine status in a room by following eye movements. Mental capacities such as the ability to trust, imitate, experience emotions like love, language, recognition, memory, object tracking, and cooperation, enable us to make instinctive decisions. The human mind is structured like a toolbox with evolved capacities, building blocks, and rules of thumb composed of building blocks. A baseball player uses the gaze heuristic to catch a ball in the air, which involves 3 building blocks. Gaze at the ball, begin running, and speed up or slow down to keep the angle of gaze steady. Our intuition is the intelligence of the unconscious that manifests as quick, decisive action, always suitable for the circumstances.
In conclusion, Gigerenzer's Gut Feelings emphasizes the importance of integrating both intuition and rationality in our decision-making processes. He highlights that our brains have evolved to incorporate intuition for good reason, and that dismissing it can lead to suboptimal outcomes. By embracing heuristics and other gut feelings, we can make decisions more efficiently and adaptively in an uncertain world. So, rather than undervaluing intuition as invalid or misleading, embracing it as an essential component of our mental toolbox can enable us to make better, more informed choices.